Hi, and thanks so much for joining me. Today we are talking about the new Wayne Goss palette as well as the eye kohl pencils. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Today I'm so excited to feature these items. They were generously sent to me by Wayne Goss and they came via Beautylish, so a thank you to Beautylish as well. I don't really know why I was fortunate enough that he reached out to me on Instagram and asked for my mailing address because he would like to send me his palette. So this is another one of those surreal things that's happened to me recently with this channel because, as you know, I have watched Wayne Goss for years. I don't even know how long, but I feel like I've seen every one of his videos. In fact, I was doing a little research, a little homework to get ready for this video because I wanted to do him right by this palette. So as I was watching the videos, I thought there are so many things that I have incorporated into the way I do my makeup. So many of the techniques are things that I use every single day and have made my makeup application so much easier. And one of the reasons I gravitate towards him is because he's consistently been kind, positive, encouraging, which is the type of person I gravitate towards in real life. So that's who I want to spend my time with. I don't watch very many YouTube channels simply because of that, because I feel like time is precious. And so I so appreciate when you watch my videos because I know time is one of those things you can't ever get back. So I choose to spend my time wisely and spend it with people that I really enjoy watching. These are people that, had I had the chance to meet them in real life or have the chance at some point to meet the people that I follow, the people I collaborate with, these are people that I would want to spend time with. So that's how I choose how I spend time on YouTube. His videos are always positive, entertaining, uplifting, and so I'm always happy to spend time watching his videos. And not only does he champion women, he champions women of a certain maturity, because often those of us in our 40s, 50s, upwards are kind of neglected when it comes to the beauty space, when in fact we are the ones probably with more income to spend on products, as well as the ones who need the products to actually work and work well. I found that I know more about makeup now because I have gotten more mature and have more issues that I have to deal with. I've had to learn how to deal with certain things like discoloration. Now I've gotten large pores. Just, you really rely on things to work. So I appreciate that he creates things with the understanding that if it works on someone in an older demographic, it will work on everybody. So I feel like he's out there speaking for us and showing how beautiful you can be at any age. So I really appreciate it. So he does also support us more mature content creators. This was sent to me not with any expectation of even posting anything about it. He just said, I would like to send this to you. So of course I was going to feature it. Actually, I was going to buy it anyway. It was the day before the launch that he let me know he'd like to send me the palette. I was all prepared to buy everything. So thank you again for sending this to me. I will treasure this always. This is going to be my most. So thank you very much for sending this to me. It is my most treasured palette. Thank you so much. I also received the pencils and I wasn't expecting these, so I actually ordered a set myself, but I'm glad I did because these pencils are amazing. So I'm going to show you application. I'm also going to show you some of the tips that he has shared that I rewatched in his videos the last couple of days just to get ready for this. And then we'll talk about products at the end. We are going to start off with one eye done. This is my eye that doesn't behave. So this one's already going to be done, and then this one will be the one we're working on. I do have everything but the one eye done. So I tried this eye first, so hopefully I can replicate it. So we're gonna go through the steps that I took to get here. I started off with Precious Opal and I put that in the waterline. So we're gonna do that first. Then I went in with Rich Hazel and I kind of carved out the shape here. So starting from the bottom, I'm just going to start right here towards the outer edge and go up. Then I'm going to do kind of like a wing. Just fill it in here. Now my most trouble spot is right here, like many of you, which is why I think there are so many tutorials on makeup for hooded eyes, because we all have trouble here and I still don't have this area in any way perfected, but I find the deeper I can get this right here to kind of camouflage what's going on there, the better. So I love these pencils for that. They're really easy to smudge out. So I've been doing this technique for, oh gosh, I don't know, a couple months now, and really establishing a shape before I go in with eyeshadow. It just makes eyeshadow more fun, and then I don't have to worry so much about this area. So these pencils I feel like are kind of unsung heroes in this collection. The palette is gorgeous, but these are really easy to work with. I've been working with a pencil from another brand that's really nice, but I think these might be better because to smudge out like this is so easy, and it's pretty even, which I think is hard to do with a pencil. So yeah, just deepening this as much as I can. I tried that eye-fi technique, the Ray Morris one that he shows. I just have such a hard time with it not rounding out too much here. So I actually booked in a one-to-one tutorial with a makeup artist here on YouTube. So she's gonna help me figure this whole thing out. So maybe we'll get some answers, but I struggle right here. I actually played with these last night and came up with a couple of different looks, but I thought I'd go with something a little bit more wearable because it got dramatic pretty fast. And I thought, let's just do this first and then we can go dramatic if you want me to show you that at some point. But I feel like this palette was created for everyday women, everyday makeup, us. And so I just wanted to show how I would use it in a more everyday way. Although I have to say this is a little bit more than I would normally wear, but I wanted to be able to show all of the colors together too. So that is just carving out the shape again with the Rich Hazel. I'm going to go in with Obsidian now and just get right here in terms of deepening this lash line in the upper waterline. This is a technique he talks about doing this, and then especially if you have small lids like me, going all the way in as far as possible. I feel like that makes a big difference on my eyes. Another thing I want to do is take Rich Hazel just on the outer third or so, just to deepen that. I'll continue to go back and forth with the pencil, even as I get into the powder, just to continue to adjust, which is nice. I feel like with these you can layer, so pencil, powder, then go in with some more pencil, which is what I did over here to adjust. I like to adjust a lot. I'm never completely happy with initial application, so I'll always go back and do something a little bit more intense in some places, especially on this outer corner. So I found that these are really easy to use in layers too. So I mean, like you could even go out like this and that's just pencil. So the pencils are beautiful. So I think I was a little bit surprised because I think the focus is so much on this beautiful palette, but the pencils are gorgeous. Let's go in and we'll leave it there for now. I also curled my lashes first, so I know that in one of the videos I watched, he did talk about curling your lashes first just to kind of see that line. So I did do that first. Brushes would be nice. I didn't bring any brushes yet. Okay, so let me get my brushes. Okay, so I just went and I got my Ray Morris brushes because that's pretty much what I have and I like them. Although I feel like I have a couple of places where I could use a little bit of refining. I do need a smaller size with this eyeshadow brush because my eyes are small. So that's another thing too with getting that line really close to the lash line. If you don't have a lot of lid space, he talks a lot about getting that eyeliner really close to the lash line so you're not taking up that valuable real estate. Okay, so let's go ahead. I went in with this beautiful color here as a base. And I go kind of up into that area where I smudged everything out. And then he also talked about this black color, which I think you can do it with the eyeliners too. If you want to intensify any of these shades, is to get that black down first as a base and then apply the color on top and it will intensify it. So I feel like you can do that also with the pencils. And I like to have the control that I have with the pencils. So you could go like that too. I'm just gonna blend that a little bit here. So you can see how easy a palette this is to use. And I believe that was intent for us regular people to be able to use them because eyes are so hard for me. They always have been, and my eye shape has changed so much over the years. Like the eyes that I have now look nothing like they looked when I was 16. In fact, I don't even know if I had like a crease so much here before. It was, yeah, my eyes did not look like this before. So I'm constantly adjusting and trying to figure out how to work with them. So we're gonna go in now with this beautiful shade right here. Okay. When I look at these, I'm still confused about which one is which. I'm sure there's an easy way to figure it out, but I'm just gonna point because, okay, so this one right here, and I love this color. It's so pretty on brown eyes especially. I think if you have blue eyes too, it would be really pretty because it has a little bit of that warmth. I mean, I think it'll look pretty on anyone. It's just a pretty color, but I especially like how it looks on brown eyes. So I did add this next. I'm trying to think of the sequence that I did this eye in. So hopefully I'm showing you some ways to easily use this palette on the way to getting to this eye right here, which is a little bit more involved. But yeah, so if you have trouble like me, I always talk about right here how this is a problem. I think you can see that I don't really need to blend that much. So in terms of intensity of the pigments, he intended these to be more like watercolors. So I feel like he achieved that because I don't have trouble layering the colors on and blending them like I do sometimes when the pigment is so intense. So I like that. I like that I'm not having trouble like blending and patchiness and all that stuff. I'm not experiencing that with this palette. Okay, then I went in with this color right here and I used my finger just to kind of pat it on. Just to get a little bit of a shimmer on there. And then I'm looking at the corner and it's really dark here compared to here. So I think I went in with the black. Disguises a lot of what is going on the corners, which is the trouble area. So I'm just gonna go in here and go in that V again, starting at the bottom and doing this kind of a shape. And then as I would say, a winged liner in this direction. Oh yeah, then I remember what I did. I also took a little bit of this shade again, this one right here, and I ran it under here. So starting about halfway, just to kind of soften that edge. I also do clean this up with concealer at the end here. Then I take this little Ray Morris brush, the pointed shader brush in number 8, and then just kind of work that around the corner. So usually I go back and forth and kind of adjust and compare. So let me see. This corner though, this is where that black helps quite a bit. Because this is misbehaves right here. I'm also going to use this black here as a liner. I'm going to use this little teeny tiny number 17 brush and just push it into the lash line. So instead of I usually put a liquid liner in here to get that intensity. I'm using this today. I'm going to take this brush, my 6.5, and just kind of melt everything together. I like this because it's such a wide brush. You can take just large sections and kind of blend them pretty easily. I'm going in with the black again just to make sure I got everything in between the lashes. Because on me, it especially sticks out if there's a place that doesn't have eyeliner, especially when I'm using such a black eyeliner. I want to just add mascara and see where we are. So I've got the Dior Show 3D Maximizer Primer. And I'm going to go in with this newer mascara for me. I used it, I think in a video before, but I didn't call it out. So this is the Pat McGrath. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Dark Star Mascara. Really big wand on this one, so it's not the easiest in terms of getting in small, like this little area right here is a little tricky. So you just have to be more careful. I'm gonna take a look at this in the mirror and just make sure everything's even. But I do wanna add this light shade here. Right in the inner corner, I have a Sonia G brush. This one's a little bit, it's a little bit less flexible than the Ray Morris one that I have. So we're gonna go right in the inner corner. Really kind of strategic about placement. Okay, what I'm going to do is curl my hair and then we will talk about all of these things. I might add another coat of mascara after it dries. Double check, make sure we are even, and then, yeah, we'll just take a closer look. I just want to make sure. because what can happen here is that because of the anatomy of my eye, it looks like it can look uneven with this eye. I mean, they're not symmetrical anyway, but I'll do my hair, fix anything in terms of evenness, and then we'll do a little recap. Okay, so mascara, I put on another couple of coats, I think a couple of coats more, and then I just deepened this corner right here because I felt like it needed a little bit more depth. I took the black, the obsidian, and I just deepened it right here. So again, that's what I like. You can go over the powder and kind of layer them. In terms of what needs to go first or second, it doesn't really matter. You can put them on and it doesn't disturb either one of them. So I like that. I loved how these were so easy to apply, especially that black. Sometimes the black eyeshadow can be really tricky because it'll be either dry or it'll be patchy, but I don't have that issue with it. And especially in these corners here, it just comes in so handy when you need to add that depth and just really essentially camouflage what's happening on these outer edges, especially if you have hooded eyes or partially hooded eyes. I think you can do so much with them. In fact, I did 2 other looks last night just practicing that looked completely different from each other. I also tried a much cooler eye. It was much more dramatic. I thought we wouldn't go as dramatic today, but that's a possibility. And as you saw, you can just add 1 or 2 colors, 1 shade. I think that looks really beautiful. In fact, in real life, that's probably how I will use this the most in terms of taking the pencils, carving out that shade, and then putting, you saw these 2 colors, this one and this one looked really beautiful on their own, and then just some mascara. I think that would be really pretty. One of the things he talked about with the pans is that they're so large because then that way you can get color from anywhere here, so you don't end up with like a divot in the middle of the eyeshadow pan. So that was one of the reasons the pans are so large. So yeah, I think this is really versatile. I think this is one of those things that if you don't have any makeup, if you're here, you probably have some makeup, but if you don't have any makeup, this would be a good 1 palette thing to have because it can do so much. I loved everything in there. Of course, it's Wayne. He's tested so much makeup. He knows what works. He's a makeup artist, so he has that in mind as well. He's worked on different people, different skin tones, so I really appreciate that he has that eye when he goes to create something, and then he has regular people in mind like us, and that gives us the opportunity to play a little bit more. I think a makeup artist knows how to strategically go in very precisely, but for those of us who are not makeup artists, it gives us a chance to play around and not mess it up too much when we're going in, like you saw, adding different layers, adding different pencils, just kind of playing around. It doesn't become a muddy mess, which has happened to me before, where you keep adding things and then all of a sudden it's just like a blob of color. But I think in this case it didn't turn out that way. I think it turned out really pretty, and eyes are difficult for me. They really are. I don't think it's a mistake there are so many eye tutorials out there either, because I feel like it's difficult for a lot of people. So this palette makes it really easy. So if you have eyes that are tricky like mine and you struggle, especially right here with that, I think that these pencils come in really handy because I could carve out the shape. They smudge beautifully. It's not, again, patchy. There's no dragging. They're really, really smooth gliding on. These are beautiful. I think I said it in the application. I feel like they're unsung heroes. They're kind of like, here's the beautiful palette and then some pencils. But I feel like these pencils are exceptional. So I feel like I'm so lucky that I had the opportunity to try these out as well. So I can't thank you enough, Wayne, for sending this to me. Thank you, Beautylish. These really do work for someone who is less than 2 years away from being 50. So I'm very well into that 40 to 50 category. And I never talked about the colors. Okay, so I was so excited about the palette, I didn't talk about the colors. So let me do some close-ups for you of what is in here. So let me just show you the close-ups of this palette right now. And then I'll also show you some swatches of both the palette and of the pencil, because I think that gives you really nice indication of how they look. But really the beauty of this palette is when you actually apply them on your eyes and see how easy they are to work with. So please let me know if you picked up this palette, if you've had a chance to play with it. Let me know your thoughts. I'm really curious. So far, of course, videos I've seen of my friends, the reviews have been quite positive, which is not a surprise, but I'd love to know your thoughts. And that's it for today's video. So please take care of each other, stay well. And if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks.